Hey everybody, this is Anthony, and I'm showing you guys how to make my hangover soup, and has chicken, avocado, and shrimp, and carrots, onions, red pepper, green scallion, onions. I have some garlic, some ginger, some lemon, some tomato sauce, chicken broth. I boiled some hard boiled eggs. I got some, cup of noodle soup. I just do it just to get the noodles from it. You could buy your regular noodles, and these are the seasonings that I'm using right now. And right now I'm gonna cook the chicken and shrimp first, and I'm gonna prep all the other stuff that you saw. So if my mouth doesn't match my lips, is because I did like a voice over, so that way you didn't hear the like stuff in the background. Cause when I did it the first time, there was like a lot of like TV, and I had the fan on and stuff like that. So right now I'm getting the tongs and I'm cooking the shrimp, and I'm gonna cook them for about 2 minutes on each side. And what I do is I season one side, I cook it, and then on the other side I season it. And you could put a little extra seasoning on it, because when you cook it in oil, the oil kind of takes off some of the seasoning, so it's okay to do it a little extra. And right now I'm doing garlic sazon seasoning. That's one of my favorite seasonings, and I got another sazon for the color, and has like some good seasonings in there. And then I just got regular adobo, and yeah, I'm gonna cook them for about 2 minutes on each side. And once I cook that, then I'm gonna cook the chicken, and then I'm basically gonna get started on the soup itself. So what you want to do is this: get a towel so you could drain the extra oil that's on the shrimp and the chicken. I already have the seasonings on the chicken, so what I'm gonna do is once I cook the chicken, I'm gonna get a wok, and then I'm gonna get everything that I prepped up earlier: the carrots, the onions, the garlic, the ginger, and red and green pepper, and put it all in the pot with a little bit of oil. And then once I cook that and I sweat out the onions and all that stuff, the veggies, then I'm gonna put some chicken broth with about like a half a cup to a cup of water on in it. And then once that starts to boil, I'm gonna put the ladle from the so I'm gonna get a ladle of the soup, and I'm gonna put it in the cup of noodles, and I'll do about three or four of the ladles of the soup, and that should cook the noodles. Once the noodles are cooked, I'm gonna get like a spoon, move it around to cook it a little faster, and then I'm gonna pour it back in the wok. So right now I'm just cooking up the shrimp and everything and the chicken. Once that's ready, then we'll get started with the soup. So the shrimp is already ready. I'm taking it out, putting it on the napkin to drain the little oil that's in there. Then I'm just gonna start cooking the chicken immediately after I take out the shrimp. And I mean, it's pretty fun. It's an easy dish. Um, it's real tasty, has a lot of good flavors and stuff, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So, I mean, and it's not expensive. It's probably like maybe less than like $20. Just depends how many people you're, how many people are gonna eat, and yeah, I bought enough for about 6 people, to be honest. But yeah, I could have cut it down, and it probably would have been like a little cheaper than what I spent. I think I spent like 18 or $17. I bought two chicken breasts that has no bone in it, and I cut it up myself. And I got a pack of shrimp that was already deveined for like $4, I think. So I already cooked the shrimp and chicken. So now I'm gonna get started with the onions. Put it in the oil, and it was kind of hard to video and cook at the same time. But be patient. I was trying. But now I'm going to get the garlic, the ginger, put it in with the onions, toss it up with a little bit of oil. Now I'm getting the green and red pepper. I want to cook that until it's tender. Then I'm going to add the carrots and toss it around. But like I said, it's a little hard when you got the phone and you're trying to record. So, but yeah, you just toss it around, get it nice and tender. Once you feel it has, it's tender and cooked pretty good, then you can add in the chicken broth. And you can use beef or whatever you want. It's up to you. I mean, I picked chicken because I'm using chicken, but if you just want a dark, different type of flavor, it's cool too. I'm putting some of the green onions in there just to have for flavor and stuff, and then I'm gonna save the rest to garnish later. So it's about almost done. Yeah, I made this the other day, and my family was like, "Wow, this is delicious." I was like, "All right," so I'm just making a little video. So if you guys want to do it, it's pretty easy. So what I did was put the chicken broth, then I put some extra water in there, and just gonna bring this to a boil. I'm probably gonna put a little more water in there. And I'm using a wooden spoon so you don't scrape up the wok. Because if you get like a metal spatula or whatever, you can mess up the wok, and you don't want to do that. Or if you have a plastic ladle or spoon or whatever, that should be fine too. And those are the cup of noodles I'm using. I got two because I'm making for at least 4 to 6 people. But if you're just doing for like say 2, maybe 3 people, you could get away with one box of noodles. And I'm going to use the same seasonings that I used with the chicken and shrimp. That's garlic right there. And you could over season it a little bit because you're going to put more water and you're going to put tomato sauce and stuff like that again. So it's going to dilute the seasoning. So you might have to re-season it again. But taste it first before you season it. Just in case, it's a little too much for you. If it's a little too salty, then just add a little more water. That shouldn't be an issue. And yeah, I'm just putting sazon, garlic, adobo, the other sazon seasoning. I forgot what they call it, but it's that one. And I'm just gonna mix it around with the ladle or the wooden spoon, and it should look like this consistency. And it's gonna thicken up once you put the cup of noodle in there, or the oodles and noodle, whatever you call it. And if you don't want to use oodles and noodle, you can just go buy a pack of Fidel or whatever noodles you have, or spaghettis, whatever you want. It's up to you. I just use that because it's easy, and I mean I tried it like that the first time and I liked it. And also I'm showing you the tomato sauce because once it starts boiling, I put the tomato sauce at the end because if you put it too early, the tomato sauce could break and it will look all ugly and nasty. What I'm gonna do is get a ladle of that, the soup juice or the broth, whatever you want to call it, and I'm gonna put it inside the oodles and noodle, so the noodles could get soft. Once it gets soft, I'm gonna put it inside back in the wok, and I'm gonna get tongs, and then I'm gonna take out the noodles and put them in bowls, so that way it's like nice and even. And then once I do that, I'm gonna get a ladle, and I'm gonna put the juice and the veggies and the chicken and shrimp that's inside there on top of the noodles, so you can have like a nice little even cup of soup. And then after I'm done with that, I'm basically gonna garnish it with the chicken and shrimp. And right now I'm talking about like the pot that I just used to cook the chicken and shrimp. I learned a little trick in the restaurant. If you take it off right away while it's still hot and you put some hot soap, the soap with some hot water, it'll take off a lot of the stuff right away. And if it's still has some stuff. You could put water, boil it on the stove top, and once it starts boiling, take it off the stove, put it back in the sink, and get like a scrubby or a sponge, and it should come right out with a little salt, soap and water. So right now I'm just waiting for the soup to get boiling. Now that it's starting to boil, I'm adding in the tomato sauce, and that should thicken it up a little bit. And I like the tomato sauce because it gives it a nice little red color. Cause I just like it like that. You don't have to use the tomato sauce. It's an option, but I'm using it because I like doing it that way. And I'm gonna put a little more water from the sink, or you could use a bottled water, up to you. And I'm gonna mix it up, put it back in there. And once you put the noodles in there, it should thicken up the soup. And the longer you leave it in there cooking, it's gonna get thicker and thicker. So it's up to you. If it gets too thick, just add more water, and that should probably fix it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm putting the ladle of the broth inside the oodles and noodle, and just fill it up until it's over the noodles, and get a spoon or a fork, whatever, and mix it around a little bit. And once it gets a little tender, then just pour it back in the wok, and just let it cook for another like 5 minutes, 10 minutes the most. And once it looks like a good consistency, it's up to you, because everybody likes their soup different. Some people like it watery, some people like it like a little thick. So it's up to you. I'm just doing it how I like it. So like I said, everybody likes their soups a little different. And you could also add in like jalapenos. You could put some hot sauce. You could put sriracha if you want to try serrano or whatever. It's up to you if you like it a little spicy. And the soup is good like for like a hot day, like if it's cold outside, or if you have a hangover, or you know, well, just a regular day. You just want to make something different that's really tasty. I'm using the lemons to put the tops on, so that way it steams up the noodles and they'll cook up a little faster. And right now I'm just mixing around the soup, and looks like the noodles are ready to go. Sorry, I'm moving my hands a lot. I just like to talk, and I move my hands around a lot sometimes because I guess I'm a New Yorker and we talk with our hands and whatever. So when I was talking, doing the video, I was like moving my hand around like I'm talking to somebody right there, and I'm like showing them like this is what you do and stuff like that. So anyway, right now I'm just mixing it all together, trying to make sure it's nice and even. And yeah, once it's done, I'm pretty sure it's done, but I'm gonna let it cook up a little longer just to get a nice consistency that I want. And like I said, that's up to you how you want your soup. If you want a little thicker, then let it sit a little longer. If you want it a little watery, then you take it out as soon as you want. As long as the noodles are cooked, then you should be fine. And if you're not sure if the noodles are cooked, just take one or two out and bite it and see how it tastes. If it tastes good, then it's ready. So what I'm going to do is get a bowl. I'm getting 3 bowls, and I'm going to take out the noodles with the tongue I have right there. And I'll show you in a minute how I do it. But yeah, right now I'm just letting it cook it up. But yeah, it's looking good. Yeah, so if you try it, leave me a comment in the section and let me know if how your soup came out. And you could try different veggies. Everybody, you could try mushrooms. You could try, leeks, or, cabbage. Potato. I just don't like having potatoes and noodles and all that. So I didn't want it too starchy because I'm on a diet right now. So I'm not trying to eat too many starchy foods or rice. Like you could put rice. You could try potatoes. You could try different stuff. So like I said, you could try jalapenos. So yeah, let me start plating up the bowls, and I'm gonna show you how it looks. All right, so I put the noodles and the broth inside, and this is, I'm garnishing out with the scallions or green onion, whatever you want to call it. And I'm putting it in the middle because all around now I'm gonna get like 2 eggs that I cooked earlier, and I made them hard boiled, and it gives it a really nice taste. I don't know how to explain it, but it gives it that nice savory taste. And I'm putting 2 in each bowl. Then I'm gonna get some avocado and chicken. I usually put about 2 to 3 avocados in each bowl, but you could put more if you like a lot of avocado. It's up to you. And I'm just making it look a little nice, like a little fancy, like you just went to a nice little restaurant, or you're trying to impress a date, or your husband or wife. And yeah, you could try little different things. It's up to you how you want, but I'm gonna put 2 shrimp in each one, and there's shrimp already in the soup too, so that's just making sure everybody has at least 2 shrimp plus whatever you got when I ladled it in there. And then I'm putting like 2 chickens on top, and then I'm gonna put a lemon wedge on each one so you can squeeze it on there. And you know the little lemon gives it a nice little flavor. And at the end, I put a little sriracha on top of mine because I like it with a little kick. I didn't put it on the others because they don't really like, you know, hot sauce or anything spicy. And I still have a little look extra. So if you want to share with your neighbor or your friends or whoever, call them over. And this is the final product. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think. All right, bye.